I think living with him those years were probably the worst years of my life. It was a very degrading time. I mean, you can just like get like talked down and beaten so much until you just feel like you're really just nothing.
All right, let's go to the frisbee. Stop it. He doesn't make fun of me this much when you're here.
I always make fun of you this much.
Well, I'm Harley, Roland Hayden, recently married, and I go to BYU, hopeful nursing student. So I think one of my first memories as a child that really helped establish like what I thought about my family, or really where I started remembering from, was after my brother passed away. There was a shark attack in Virginia Beach, and that's how he died. So it was very tragic, very shocking. And after that was when my life started taking a kind of a turn for the worse. My mother immediately began doing drugs after his death, and we moved into this little like trailer park. My mom just kind of stopped caring, I guess you could say, and I was really just like a 6-year-old left to survive. When I would go see my dad every other weekend, he would abuse us. And my life was always like so predictable. Like I would never know if my dad was just gonna. I went to sleep scared because I didn't know if I was gonna get woken up in the middle of the night with with a drunk dad, or if I was gonna, I don't know, like sleep through the night. I never knew what was gonna happen. So I never really felt safe as a kid. We had this one night where we were switching refrigerators. I'm like switching out all the stuff in the fridge, and I think like the night's going pretty well. Like my dad's being like really nice drunk. Like all of a sudden, like the middle of the night, my dad just like is like yelling. He's like, "Come downstairs!" Blah, blah, blah. And he pulls up this like bag of like lettuce that I left in the fridge, and he puts it on this placemat, and he's like, "You're gonna sit down and eat that lettuce." And then I touch the lettuce, and I'm like, "There's no effing way I'm gonna eat this lettuce." When my dad would like abuse me, I would never do anything back. I would just kind of like take it until it was over. But this night, I don't know like what was different, but I just kind of like gave back to him. He like ripped my shirt off, and that's when I was like, this is like way crazy. So I just like did everything I could to like get out. So I like go to my neighbor's house, and like she opens the door and she's like frightened because I have like soggy lettuce in my hair, my like nose is bleeding, I'm like all scratched up, I'm wearing a ripped shirt. I told my bishop of my church, and that was making me feel emotional. That was like really hard for me to tell them and to have nothing happen. I think as a person who was abused, you work up so much courage to tell someone about it because it's such a big deal to you. And then you tell someone and they're like, "Oh well, you know, you can make it." I moved in with my mom to just escape the lifestyle that I was living at my dad's house. And as soon as I moved in with her, I called my own young women's leader, Dusty, and just asked her how I could start going to church. And she told me that her sister didn't live too far away. So I called her sister, Jamie. She just kept inviting me to her house more and more, and I kept asking to go over more and more. And I would say after about a few months, Jamie and Andy just invited me to live with them. Before I moved in with Andy and Jamie, I was seriously the most passive person ever. I really never talked about how I felt. I would never defend myself. Jamie really taught me to have a backbone and to stand up for myself. And I think she just really made me feel important. And I think Jamie really helped me feel beautiful, which was something that I don't think anyone ever made me feel that way before. And I think most of all, like, the two of them just made me feel loved, which was a big deal, and in their home I felt safe. So that was probably the greatest thing they offered me. I realized early on, after moving with Andy and Jamie, that I could let my anger run my life. Like, I can't change the fact that my dad abused me. I can't change the fact that my mom is a drug addict. I can't change the fact that I have to go to therapy every year. So why would I be mad about it? You know, I mean, I try really hard to not hold on to resentment. If my friend's having a hard time about something, like, I could relate to them, but you would never know that unless you make yourself vulnerable to someone else. So just like talk with people, pray, even if you don't want to. I think that's the biggest deal too. And like still have faith